2. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another amazing episode of Brett walking you through Superalgos things. I'm gonna put my phone up there. All right, so what I'm thinking about doing today is walking you all through setting up a Twitter bot using Superalgos. And why I'm going to do that is because I just got it working last night. So I might as well show it off to somebody. I am working on a second computer right now, trying to get my trading cluster back up. I was trying to update it. I found that the Docker container wasn't working properly earlier, so I fixed it. And now I'm hoping I can get these up and running and get the Twitter bot up and running. So sorry. I got some of them working. All right, so let's go take a look at first. I want to make sure I am up to date on my stuff here. I want to get, pull, upstream, develop. Oh, tonight, I haven't told you what I'm drinking. Tired Hands last week released a delicious Alien Shake Strawberry Extra Vanilla Reptoid Milkshake IPA. And it is just as delicious as it sounds. It is an IPA, but it's a hazy IPA. And I believe when they call them milkshakes, they are a little bit sweeter and less bitter. I think that's why they go with milkshake versus New England IPA versus hazy IPA. But yeah, tastes like a strawberry milkshake. It's delicious. So cheers. All right, my trading cluster is almost up to date. So now that we are on the latest develop, I want to node setup to install any new and updated modules, dependencies. When I was working on the Twitter bot, I tested out a couple of different JavaScript libraries, and I ended up right back where I started with the official, well, I don't think it's official, but if you look at npm.org, no, is that it? Node, npm, I think it's npm.js.com course. So there, Twitter has an interesting way of doing authentication that is more than just API key or username and password. They do OAuth, which is why you will see in several places you can log in as Twitter or log in using Twitter, things like that. So while I'm waiting for, oh good, it's up to date. I'll walk you through some of the steps real quick to how to get this working and why. I guess I'll come back to how to configure the Twitter bot or the Twitter parameters and everything. But this is the project page or the node repository page for the Twitter module. And you can see it takes 4 specific keys and secrets to be able to use. It was quite interesting. This is my first time dealing with Twitter and this module itself, so it took me a little bit of trial and error to figure out how to get it working. And I finally got it. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to make a Twitter account. If you don't have one, you would click on sign up with phone or email, or even what you probably want to do is make a bot specific account. So you're going to want to create a brand new account. If you don't have a name for your bot yet, you can just go ahead and put in your own name. Again, if you don't know, my name is Brett Taylor. You can find me on GitHub at Splat with 2 S's and 2 T's, because somebody had already taken Splat with 1 S and 1 T. And then you can type in your phone number. You could use your email. If you use your phone number, they really don't care if you already have an account, but you can only have one email on each account. So if you have a Google account, it makes it very easy where you can just do like whatever username plus, and then you can call it like mybot or twitterbot at gmail.com or whatever it is. Yeah, sorry. Username plus Twitter at gmail.com. Whatever you put after this plus sign will get applied as a label in Gmail, and it doesn't actually count as like, I mean, in terms of Twitter, it counts as a brand new email address, but in terms of Google, that anything from in front of the plus sign counts as your regular email, and it will get delivered to your regular email account. This will be useful later, because in order to set up, I believe it was when I went to set up 2-factor authentication, I had to add an email account before they would let me set that up. So first things first, set up your brand new Twitter account that you're going to use for the bot, unless you want to just send everything over an account that you already have. You will then have to fill out a very short form, just kind of describing what you intend to do with the bot. Since this is, algorithmic trading, you can basically just say, I am going to possibly read or pull down Twitter status updates, and later we may have a way of bringing that into Superalgos and creating sentiment indicators. Or, geez, I saw somebody a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was a couple months ago, who set up a trading system where whenever Elon Musk tweeted about Bitcoin or Dogecoin or whatever, immediately bought that coin and then set a market sell exactly, I think it was 24 hours later. And I think they did that for a couple months, and they actually ended up making a small amount of money. I don't think it was anything incredible, but it was positive, which was, kind of interesting. Geez, am I going to walk through setting up the actual account? I'm not going to walk through filling out the form. I'll let you guys and gals, people, y'all figure out how to describe what it is you're going to do. I think I basically said, as I was talking about it before, I think I said I was going to potentially pull down tweets, analyze them to create indicators, and that I was going to be pushing status updates from my trading system that could be, its own indicators. It could be just things that are happening in the trading system, like, hey, I created a buy today. Potentially, well, I don't know. Come up, use your imagination. And it's very simple to do. It does take maybe 5 minutes, and then they make you check your email to verify that it's your account. You click on that verification, and then you get put into, let's see, I'll sign in as got my 2-factor. Always set up 2-factor authentication. So then you can go to the Twitter dev, what do they call it? Developer.twitter.com. So now you can go to the developer portal. You will create a brand new project, like I called mine Superalgos Announce Bot. You'll see what your limits are. You'll see that it's free. You can keep an eye on your limit. I thought the limits were, I didn't realize that they were, tweets pulled per month. That's interesting. Keep that in mind. I think in terms of posting status updates, they give you the ability to do, I think I saw 300 in a 3-hour block, 3-hour window, which is pretty good in itself. And then you'll see down here you have your apps, and I have my Superalgos Announce Bot. In here, you'll want, if you're going to be posting, you need to be able to write. If you're just going to be pulling tweets, which we don't have an indicator yet, but I plan on working on one soon, if nobody else gets to it first. And then these authentication settings are only if you plan on using Twitter OAuth in like your own website or some other application that you're writing. But we're just doing a bot, so we don't need auth. Let's see, app permissions. Nope, that's just that. And then we want to, nope. That is just that. Here, keys and tokens. So the very first set of keys that they will present you with are the API key and secret, and you'll see it's under consumer keys. So when we look back over here, we need a consumer key. We need a consumer secret. Let me make sure. Oh, I didn't. Node platform, get that up and running. And then let's load up our Superalgos. And then they will also present you with a bearer token when you first create your application. The bearer token, I believe, is only useful for read applications. It will not work for posting status updates. So, in order to post status updates, you are effectively acting as a user. So you need to have the access token and secret. And I believe if you haven't done it yet, there will be a button here that you'll have to click once. It'll present you with a window. I'm not using these, so I'll just go ahead and click regenerate. It'll present you with a window like this. You'll copy these out, and I will go ahead and just put them here temporarily. And hopefully I remember to reset these after the broadcast. Oh, well, cool. It got out of it for me. So I have a new access token, and then my access token secret copy. Yes, I saved them this time. And I'll go ahead and regenerate this. Copy. So this is my consumer key and my consumer key secret. Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell everybody I'm live right now. Let me post in what am I looking for? All right. So, I'm sorry, I'm posting these in the official Discord and the official Telegram, and telling people to bring their questions if they have them. Yeah, feel free if you ever have any questions to go ahead and ask them. Either if you catch this as a rebroadcast, ask them in the comments. Come join us in the official Telegram. If you can't find it, it's either linked through superalgos.org or github.com/superalgos/superalgos in the README. And there's a Discord. Same places. Go ahead and check them out. There's also Superalgos Twitter, and I am on Twitter at splat_algos or algo. Feel free. Go ahead and send me your questions. So we got our keys, and now we can go into Superalgos and set up our bot. As soon as it loads. Sorry, for some reason, my basement is the only basement I've ever known to be hot. And I think it's because I have a gas boiler and a gas water heater about 10 feet away from me. And they are running all the time. And the heat is on. So I've got radiator pipes right above me also. So let's see. Yes. All right. So I've got my Twitter bot test set up here. And what I've done is I was doing some debugging using the Slack bot. I'm going to turn that off. And I was setting up my new Twitter bot. I'm going to just detach that for now. Let's delete this. So when you come to your trading system, your trading task. I'm going to run this on a back testing because, well, whatever. It's just quick and easy. So you'll come in to your back testing session. You'll hit add social bots. You'll get the Twitter bot, Slack, Discord, and Telegram. You can delete out whichever ones you're not going to use. And then we can configure our Twitter bot like this. What am I looking for? So I've got my consumer key here. And we put that right in here with our consumer key. And then our key secret. And then our access token. And then our, that's what I wanted. Our access token. So one thing that is broken right now, and I have not fixed, is the send Twitter test message button does not work. Part of that is because this block of code is actually executed in your browser. It's not executed on the back end. So the back end code is where that Twitter node module lives, and all the code that it has about authenticating with Twitter and getting OAuth tokens and all those things. This block of code itself is in the workspace JavaScript, and it uses a completely different, just basically a pure HTTP module. And I have not gone through and decided if I want to try and import the Twitter module into the workspace JavaScript and ship it when you load up the UI, or if I want to code out all the different steps of how to get the OAuth and everything configured properly to authenticate with to authenticate with Twitter, just to be able to send a test message or not. So anyway, this would normally be enough to go ahead and test that this works, but it doesn't. So we're going to test with an actual back testing session. And since this has the potential to send a ton of messages, if we're doing a back test, you're going to want to set your time range to be very small. So I know from past back tests that the time range that I have set here of October 1st through the 6th will give me a couple of messages, but not too many messages. So I know that on the 1st I start, and then I know that on the 4th I will create a buy and a sell. And then on the 5th, I'll generate another buy, and then it'll end at midnight between the 5th and 6th. So I should get a couple of messages when I run this. I guess the other thing to show you is, I believe I may have shown this last time, but I recently worked on some updates so that when you create an announcement on the stage itself, you can put in a configuration to say on enter or on exit. So I have these announcements running on exit. And I put in a condition saying that if the last limit order is closed and filled when we're exiting the stage, that we will go ahead and send our announcement. And this is a lengthy piece of code that I wrote to give some information about the statistics of the trading system itself. And also you may see some funky characters in here. I have a \U, open curly brace, and then some letters and numbers, and then a closed curly brace. Those are Unicode characters. So, Unicode emoji. Those are actual emoji characters. Inside the code blocks themselves, you have to do it the JavaScript way. But one thing that is pretty cool is if you come over here and configure, there's a special extra configuration that you can add on here called format. And there's only 3 templated items that are in this right now. One of them is exchange. So what I did there is a % open curly bracket, exchange, close curly bracket. And then you can do the same thing with market, and it has to be capital. And then you can do your message, and the message is what is in the announcements over here. And what I wanted to show you is that if I go over to this emoji list over here, let's take our Mr. Money face, configure it, and then we can, and what I did there was I highlighted it and copied, and now I can paste, and boom, look, I have my little emoji. So that's a lot simpler. When you're looking down this list here, you'll see they have samples from Apple, Google, Facebook. I don't know what Wind is. Twitter. I don't know what Joy is. Samsung, Gmail, and I don't know what the other ones are. KDDI. I don't know. That might be, I have no idea. I'm not even going to try and guess. But anyway, you'll see the first column here is browser. And you'll see that the browser is missing it in a couple. So when you paste it in, if you want to put them in that format block, which is a JSON configuration block, if you wanted to put in, you know, the saluting face, you could copy this out, paste it into the JSON configuration, and you'll see a square just like that, because the browser itself doesn't know about it, but the other platforms do. So let me find one here, like a disguised face. Let's copy this out. And then we can go back over here, and let's say I want it at the end. Well, I'll put it after market, in between market and message. So I paste, and boom, I get a square, because the browser doesn't know about it. But when we post to Twitter, or if you post to Discord or Slack, it will know about them, and everything will be Gucci goo. I have not tested extended Unicode. I've only done this with these Unicode characters, but it should work exactly the same. So if you want to put like a cow for some reason, go ahead. You can probably do that. So I'm about to show you that was super duper simple. Man, I guess we've wasted 32 minutes of time talking about it, but How about I just show you how it works? So now we can run our task. And then I can click run on my back test. And then we can go over here to Twitter. And you can see I have my backtesting session is starting. Let's view. Can I just view my tweets? And here's our messages going through the trading system. Open up a position at 48,000 coins or dollars to Bitcoin. We have an ROI because that's the very first position and its opening of 0. And there we go. So we have one sale where we went up to 51,000. We made 5%. The total episode was 5%. And since we only had one position, our average was 5%. So pretty cool, huh? There's our Twitter bot. Super simple. And then since I'm done testing, I can go ahead and delete these because I don't want to clutter up my Twitter feed with testing messages. So, what else? Let's see. What did somebody ask about today? Let's see. I just pushed an update to the Docker container. So you can work with me right now. Oh, you know what I should do? I should regenerate these because I don't want people, well, I'll do this off screen. I don't want people taking my Twitter things. Regenerate, yes. Good. I'll regenerate these again later. Alright, so I regenerated all my tokens so nobody can steal them. So yeah, that's the Twitter bot. And I'll go ahead and delete that. So let's see. If we were to make a data mine where we wanted to pull from Twitter, what would we do? I don't even know. I don't think I want to get into that right now because I really have no idea. I know that at some point we would we would make a plugin in the data mining. I know that there are generic API ones. I don't think I'm going to be able to just copy one and start working on it right now. So what else do we want to learn about? Oh yeah, I made an update to the Docker container so we can try that out, see if it works. Let's go ahead and get into one of my workspaces. Still have not set up my SSH key in Putty. So I've got Superalgos running. You may notice I'm typing some shorthand aliases for Docker Compose. DCL was Docker Compose logs, DCL. DCE, I have alias to Docker Compose execute. And you can see I was running SH in Superalgos earlier. So we had to move, with all the code being moved around, we had to move the data directories because they are no longer in the root. So let's see here. If I go to platform, you can see I have my data storage, my log files, my workspaces, my web server. Well, sorry. These are the three. My data storage, my log files, my workspaces. And I have nothing in data storage. Oh, let's see. Project data mine candles. Oh, I do have BTC, LTC. Okay, so got some stuff. Let's load this up and see if we can get this working. So when I ran this earlier, I was getting data, but none of the indicators were running after that. So wasn't actually calculating anything. And you all are going to get to debug with me live to see if this works. And hopefully this loads. So I am calling this trading system Ride the Wave. I don't really know why. Thought it sounded better than BTLS mod, because all I was doing was modifying the lightning strike. And the basic premises of this trading system that I came up with is buy low and sell high. You know, nothing new. I was using the EMAs to detect when the market was starting to turn from going down to going up, placing a limit buy at the bottom. Excuse me. And then setting a limit sell up higher. Excuse me. I don't think there's really too much more to it. I was just trying to come up with something that was extremely simple to run multiple markets with relative efficiency on little Raspberry Pi boards. So really the only indicators that are being calculated are the candles and volumes and the EMA. And so I'm hoping I can run many markets on one Raspberry Pi, essentially. And basically the reason that I want to run many is to just diversify. I want to try and just not put all my eggs in one basket. So let's get this started, because earlier nothing was working. See, I have it set to start on the 21st, January 1st. And these are all Binance US. And if we come over here, and it started over from scratch. So maybe this won't work. Who knows? Maybe it'll work this time. Well, I will show you one thing I can do to test. Let's touch. Hello. So my file is there. And now, if I go into my data storage, hey, my file is there. So my data is being saved out. BTC, output, OHLCVs, 1 minute on the 27th, data JSON, and yeah, that has not been updated yet. I don't think it saves that file out until it is complete. It's my ID here, 1001. You may have noticed I'm using Odroid boards instead of Raspberry Pis. That is because they were a little bit cheaper, and I think they perform. I haven't run my own benchmarks, but I think they perform slightly better than the similar Raspberry Pi 4s. So these boards come with 4 gigabytes of DDR4 memory. They have an Amlogic. They are AArch64 or ARM64. Sorry, my ears bothering me. I mean, what else is different about them? Not a whole lot. One thing that is I also like about them is that they have this eMMC module, which is a lot more reliable. That was what I was going to say first. And it's a lot quicker than using an SSD. If you were going to use a Raspberry Pi, you definitely do. You may want to use a you may want to do an SSD for the boot and operating system. But for the data storage, you definitely want to use an USB 3 USB drive or something else that is more reliable than an SSD card, because they will die. SSD cards will die very quickly with a lot of writes and a lot of reads, or I guess more writes. But yeah, looking down here, I mean, obviously they posted these benchmarks, but the C2s are the older version, which I actually have 4 of these running also. And you can see that the Odroid C4, which is the newer version, is just about the same, if not better, than the Raspberry Pi 4 in all the tests. But of course, I'm sure they've cherry-picked them. At any rate, this is why I picked it. $54 with an eMMC. You can buy in several different. Let's see, do they have it on here? No. While I'm looking at this, you will need to buy a power supply for these, 12 volt 2 amp, because regular USB will not do that. The old Odroid C2s, you could use a high powered USB plug and it would work. So that was a little off-putting, or not off-putting. I guess what am I trying to say? That is a one reason why the C2 is better, or one thing that I like better about the older C2 model is that you can run it straight off a USB. Come on, this is still going. I was hoping this would be done by now. Oh, errors. That's not good. So that's probably why that's taking so long. Cannot create file. Well, it looks like I am having permissions issues. Logs. My log files. Oh, I see. Sudo chown -r myself. See if that fixes it. My data storage. Well, let me just do this. Sudo chown -r splat everything. And maybe that'll fix -f minus tail equals 50. That looks better. So I guess what happened there is if you start up a container, those directories probably got started the last time, or got created the last time I started up the container, which I did not have the directories already in place. So it created them on the fly at the startup of the container. And when it does that, it creates them as root. And then when I ran it this time, I was not the root user. I was the internal Superalgos user, or it's mapped to my local splat user, which I use for myself. And that's why I had to change the ownership of all the files. And now, hopefully, this will all work. It's going a lot quicker. Still taking forever. All right, what was I showing? Let's see. Well, that looks like it's working. Let's go into my log files. We can explore this while we're here. So these are some debug logs that get written out. What do I want to do? I want the exchange, raw data, finance, BTC, logs. Oh. Excuse me. And then you can see we have some logs from today. And there's a bunch of them. And they all got written right now. Let's see what's in this one. Nothing. Did it get deleted? They get written and deleted so quickly. I don't quite understand. Oh, hey, we're almost done. That looks good. Saving all those files. All right. And I like to see that. I think that means that those are about to kick off. No. They did not. What happened? So that all finished. And then nothing. Candle volumes. Started and then stopped. And did nothing. Why? Let's hunt this down. So it's maybe in the my log files. Project, data mine, candles. Let's see what the candle volume says. BTC. Multi-time frame. Daily. CD into today. Let's see what's in all of these. Status dependency. Let's see. I wonder if I have to delete these files and start over. So what I'm looking for is to try and see why status report was never created. Yeah, let's copy this out. I want to JQ it because it makes it a little bit easier to see. Where do I want to do this? Here. And JSON pretty. So here's what we were looking at. Oh, that doesn't give us any information. Status report was not found. All right. Let's, how would my status report not be found? All right. Well, this is going to take some time to debug. It could be my workspace. It could be I have some bad data in the way. So let's go into my data. Let's just delete everything. And now let's go into my log files and do the same. Let's save and refresh, and then we're gonna run it again. And I hope you enjoy learning how to debug your trading system, the data mining system in particular. And of course, it takes a while to update the search engine. So let's go back here. Let's run our data mine. And hopefully this time it works. If it doesn't work this time, next thing to do is to uninstall the market and reinstall the market. Yeah, I don't know why. File storage, get channels, volumes. File does not exist. So yeah, hopefully this is just a data storage issue, and running with Binance US. Obviously, it's just a little bit slow and a little bit of a pain in the butt. But it's not, excuse me, it's getting to be my bedtime. It's not the end of the world having to repull all your data. It's not ideal. Could be worse things. And of course, it takes a while. So let's see, what else can we talk about while this is happening? What else is new that I've noticed? That is basically it. There's a ton of other exchanges to test if you are looking for something to do, or if you excuse me, definitely my bedtime. If you want to help translate docs, we're definitely looking for people to help do that. If let's see, what else can we do? Exchanges. So so you can see we use the CCXT Superalgos uses the CCXT library. If you can find it on this list, excuse me, it should work with Superalgos. But it is not guaranteed to have been tested yet. I myself, if you've watched some of my other videos, I have tested Coinbase and Kraken, and each of those has a slight difference to them in terms of how they work and the code behind it. Excuse me. In terms of how it works, Binance and Binance US are by far the most tested. That is the exchange that the founders of the project worked with, and it actually seems to work the best anyway in terms of grabbing historical data. So it is definitely a good place to start. But I know, at least in the US, there's a lot of people concerned about keeping their money with a Chinese-owned exchange, potentially keeping their money in China, or at least controlled by China. And I believe Coinbase, I think, is pretty safe to say that's the #1 exchange in the US, possibly the world, or at least at one point. I don't know. Making that up. Kraken, at least in my group of friends, has been, I would say, definitely the second most popular in the US. Gemini, I actually haven't tried any other exchanges, but I think Gemini is probably the next one that I would personally test. Although I don't necessarily want to give any money to the Winklevoss twins. So, I don't know. If you can, if you can find your exchange on this list, then it most likely works with Superalgos. Man, we're still going. Hurry up, hurry up. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Let's see. There is a CoinGecko plugin, data mine, if you want to look that up. CoinGecko, if you haven't looked at the website, is kind of like CoinMarketCap, where they basically just kind of give you statistics about all the coins. Oh wow, Shiba Inu passed Dogecoin today in terms of market cap. That is interesting. I knew that people thought it was going to happen eventually. Look at that chart. That's pretty interesting. But of course, also check that it is, what do we have here? 10th, 100th, 1000th, 100,000th, 100,000th of a penny. So you could buy 1,000,000 Shiba Inu coins, and it's risen 70% since yesterday. So if you're looking for a hype coin, Shiba Inu seems to be the current hype coin. Polygon has a pretty good looking chart there. Phantom, haven't heard of that one. Need to do some more research on some of these coins. Elrond. I had a pretty neat spike. What happened here? So it went from, what was that 334, almost 335, up to 428. That's a pretty good spike today. Look at that volume increase. Those are pretty good. All right, anyway, let's check on our, okay, this isn't gonna work. I'm gonna have to do a bunch more debugging. I don't know why the data mining isn't working today. But anyway, I think that might be it for today. Send me your questions. I'm looking for more things to answer during these videos. Again, check out the Superalgos project on GitHub. It is github.com/superalgos. And the project is Superalgos. Their main website is superalgos.org. Pretty cool. There's a token that is being used to reward people for their contributions, whether it is social media, marketing, code, adding indicators, data mining, helping with the docs. You can pretty much help the project anywhere, and then you can participate in the tokens and the governance system. Also, very recently, there were markets set up on PancakeSwap, liquidity pools, so you can add liquidity if you want on PancakeSwap. And what else? What are some other new things that just happened? I think that's kind of it in terms of the project. But anyway, join us in Telegram, join us on Discord, find me on Twitter, find me here on Twitch. This video will be uploaded to YouTube probably tomorrow. Like and subscribe everywhere. And I think that's it for me for the night. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Oh, and as long as my kids allow me to, I will be doing an interview with Luis tomorrow at noon Eastern time, Eastern US, New York City time, to talk about the code base. And I guess we'll walk through that a little bit more. If you have some interest in learning where you can contribute, whether it's, working on the front end, working on the, that wasn't it, on this part, working on the front end, the web UI, working on the back end, adding in, fixing bugs, whatever, adding in new features, that you will not want to miss, because like anything, getting up to speed with a new code base is pretty difficult and kind of daunting. So having somebody there to walk you through it is definitely a bonus and well worth everybody's time. So with that, I'm going to head to bed, everybody, because I am tired. And I hope you all have a good night. I will catch you next week. Salud.